That's the driver's worst nightmare. Hey guys, what's up, Redactions here, and welcome back to this brand new video. And today, once again, we're back at Karting Genk. And one thing that's funny is it's actually Monday, but because it's the week of the Golden Trophy, it's absolutely packed. And well, it's always packed here, but now even more so. Every international rotax team is here right now. Yeah, it's a little bit cold, it's a little bit humid, but let's see what we can do today. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Karting Genk. As you know, we have the last round of the Dutch Championship here in a few weeks, and last week we went testing too. And even though the speed wasn't that great after that one, I still felt very confident. There was one thing that went a little bit wrong in this session, however. Yeah, that was embarrassing. If you looked closely there, you saw that my brakes failed. I pressed the brake pedal, nothing happens. And when that happens, you're basically just a passenger. So I tried to slow the car down as much as possible. I just yanked the steering wheel, and that made us do a 360, which actually worked out this time, not compared to last time. And yeah, that sent us face first into the barrier. And as you can see there, actually one of the front fairing clamps broke because of the impact. So now my front fairing was only secured by one clamp. Anyways, when I tried to push the cart back to the track, well, of course that worked. I got in, and then I noticed that the cart was not starting. If you look at my foot there, I'm pumping the gas a little bit, pressing the starter button. Nothing was working, and that was because the starter engine or the starter motor was a little bit worn out on this one. And what you can do to help that is by tapping it with a tool. Unfortunately, I didn't have a tool with me, so I had to look for a rock, and I used that rock to start the engine, and then we were able to set off again. Here you can see me tapping the starter motor, and boom, there we go. So not only did we do a complete 360 and a brake failure, I had to use a rock to start the cart. What an absolutely weird start to the day. Anyways, back to the serious stuff now. As I was saying, last week we went testing here at Genk, and even though we weren't completely up to the pace yet, everything did feel quite good. We were on the LN chassis, same as what we are now, and I had to use that for testing because, as I said, my Tony kart is too different from this one now to use them interchangeably. So it was important that we got to grips with the LN chassis, which was, well, we didn't completely get to grips yet last week, but right now we did. And you can really tell the kart was handling good by the way it handled this curb. Yeah, as you could see, it just completely floated over the curb like it was not there. You could hear that the engine did not really get a big shock or something. And also this curb in the double left-hander, oh, we don't take it right now, but later in the day we will. The car was just feeling solid. It was so calm, it did exactly what I wanted, it had grip. And you can just tell that by how little steering inputs I'm giving, well, just by the lack of steering inputs I'm giving. Normally, when I'm not really comfortable with the kart, it will be a little bit shaky in the mid corner. You will see some weird oversteer, and we just didn't have that right here. And that's good because I actually like being confident with the kart. So, apart from that little shenanigan at the beginning, this first session was actually really good.
Nee, de rem was niet kapot. Het enige stuk even als je naar voren hoort. Zet je mij niet oplopen. Net Winston.
Well, that's the driver's worst nightmare. Yeah, brake failure. What happened was, well, I'll just show you. We changed the brake pads, we put in some used ones. And when you change the brake pads on the kart, you need to push the old ones, wait, let me focus on it. The old ones, you need to push them outward so that they're not touching the disc anymore. And then when you put in new ones, of course, the pads will still not be touching or will not be close enough to the disc. So when I pressed the brake pedal, it was just nothing. So, you know, the pads, they were moving, but just not close enough. So they were going in, but they were just not touching the brake disc. And the way you can solve that is before you go out on track, just do this a couple of times. It adjusts itself, but yeah, my mechanic forgot to do that. So yeah, whoops. But yeah, apart from that little incident, it was actually pretty okay. Kart felt good, speed was okay too, and yeah, pretty happy with that. Also, the engine issues from last week are finally solved. That's really nice. So, let's see what we can do after this. Alrighty people, second session of the day, and we did some setup changes. First of all, we switched from the round 1mm torsion bar to the standard torsion bar. This makes the front end a little bit less stiff, which kind of makes the front end bite a little bit less, so it will have a little bit of less grip at the front as we push a slower driver out of the way there. It didn't really work though. But what we did to counter that is we switched from 3 degrees of caster to 4 degrees of caster, so we added a little bit of grip at the front, which kind of countermeasured the grip loss from the torsion bar. Now the reason we got rid of the stiffer torsion bar was that the kart was just bouncing too much over the curbs. Even though you saw in the previous session that it completely just glided over, this torsion bar just makes the front end a lot more calm in a way. It's kind of hard to explain. If you've ever driven with the two of them, you know what I'm talking about. And as you can see there, my GPS actually got loose and I had to retighten it, but it's good now. We can do it on the fly because it's just secured by Velcro. Anyways, here you can see that I take a massive amount of curb now, and as I was talking about it in the first session, we didn't do it just then. Also over this curb, the kart, it just takes it like a champ. Even though this chassis is relatively new compared to the Tony kart, it still takes curbs like a champ. Because if you guys didn't know, when a kart ages, the chassis gets more flexible, and when it gets more flexible, it will be easier going over the curbs, because as you can probably imagine, a stiff kart will be a lot more bouncy and jumpy over curbs. Usually if you can take curbs like this at Genk, you have a solid handling kart, which is what we had right here. Also guys, I would want to take this opportunity to thank you all for 14,000 subscribers. The channel has just been growing and growing, even now when I'm a little bit less active due to school. And also, if you're new to this channel and if this is the first video you've seen of me, please consider hitting those like and subscribe buttons if you like the content and want to see more karting content. It massively helps me in securing a drive for next year, and I can already tell that I will be driving next year, so that's a huge plus, and that's partly thanks to you guys. Well, a lot of that's thanks to you guys actually, so you can pat yourself on the back for that. And I've got some exciting news coming about next year. I'll be spilling out more information as time goes on, so if you want to know what I'm doing next year, keep following the channel and definitely hit that subscribe button. So yeah, this session was pretty cool. The tires were a little bit worn out because, well, you can see that my curb usage is a little bit down. But yeah, we fixed that for the next session. Right, that was the first proper session without me having no brakes. Yeah, it went okay. Still a little bit off the pace. There unfortunately are no like racing senior drivers. It's all just, you know, people doing for the hobby. Yeah, we don't really have that much comparison, but yeah, in terms of feeling, the kart feels miles better than it did last week. The back end's actually planted. I can take the narrow lines now that you should take here. Last week I couldn't do that, now I can. And also our gearing is one step lower than what we had last week, but the low speed is higher and the revs are too, so that's good. So yeah, going on new tires now, see what we can do. Alrighty, new tires. If you guys have been following the channel, then you'll know the thing, but if you're new, let me explain. New tires in karting are a very weird thing, especially the tires that our class uses, which is Mojo D5. Whenever you put a brand new set of these tires on the kart, they give a absolutely huge performance peak in the first 4 to 5 laps, and it is very important that once you go out, you set your lap time in those 5 laps. And in qualifying, this can lead to some interesting battles going on out on track and some interesting mind games being played. So it's actually super important that you learn to maximize your new set of tires, which is what we are doing right here. And for once it actually went well. We had good track position, I was able to set a clean lap. Wasn't a particularly fast lap because the track was actually quite slow. But yeah, that one went pretty well actually. And well, the session after that, which is what we're going to switch to right now, we stayed on the new tires, so they were now one session plus some laps old. And that's what we usually do. You start out the day on a used but not terrible set of tires. You do maybe 2 or 3 sessions on them, then switch to new tires to practice a new run. You keep them on there for 2 sessions, so one when they're brand new and one when they're a little bit new. and then finish off the rest of the day on old tires. And if you do that, you actually well, it's basically the smartest way to manage your tires, and you'll get the most out of your tires if you do it that way. So once you've set aside the set that was new on the day that you went testing, you can start on those tires for the next day you go testing. So that's the way I do it. Just a small tip from me, do it like that and you will save tires. So yeah, after those 2 sessions, came back into the pits, and yeah, it was going well. Kart felt good. Alright, finished the 2 stints on new tires, and good. Yeah, kart feels good. Also nice for once, eh? That we actually go well for once. That's really good, really good. So now we'll just finish the day on these old tires. That's what we always do. That's how you get the most out of your tires. Save the good ones for later. Alright guys, with the helmet cam and with the older tires we are going to finish this day, and driving in this weather with a beautiful sunset is just an absolute vibe. Just look at how it looks. It's indescribable feeling, and I think this song kind of matches the feeling that you have when you're driving. By the way, I'll put it in the description. It's a beautiful song. Anyways, in the last sessions there was actually another senior who was surprisingly quick, who I didn't really notice all day. So here, yeah, we decided to drive in a little group. That's of course what always happens at Genk, driving in groups, and that's just a quick way to learn the track. And if you've seen Super GT's videos, you know what it's all about. Let's follow him for a lap and end the day with that. Alright guys, that was it for this day. I feel like I improved my driving a lot today, especially going into the first and last corners. I struggled there a little bit, but now I think we're good. And also in that last session, the feels you got driving with the sunset and the beautiful sky, strange feeling. I like it. Also guys, we're in this tent. This is not my own tent, it's actually the exact same tent but a different color. It belongs to these people. This is Ralph, you've seen it in my videos a few times. Yeah, junior driver, will be in seniors next year. And my old mechanic is now working for them, but I'm still friends with my old mechanic, so sometimes I can be here in their tent, and that's nice. So yeah, pretty good day. I'm happy with that. And also, with that comes the end to this video. Now, if you enjoyed that, then I would appreciate it enormously if you would hit those like and subscribe buttons. You know you really help me when you do that. Now the engine was actually running pretty decently today. Actually, it was running really good. Now if you want to see what it looks like when your engine doesn't run that well, go check out last week's video. It's on screen right now. This video however is done, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.